things got heated fast. Jim Jordan just went head-to-head with Jasmine Crockett in a brutal immigration showdown, and his fiery response left the entire room stunned. The halls of Congress are no stranger to heated debates, but on a crisp morning in Washington, D.C., a routine congressional hearing on immigration policy erupted into a fiery confrontation that captivated audiences nationwide. The clash between Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio and Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett of Texas was not just a policy disagreement, it was a spectacle that laid bare the deep partisan divides over one of the nation's most contentious issues, immigration. The exchange, marked by raised voices, pointed accusations, and unrelenting intensity, quickly became must-watch television, with clips ricocheting across social media platforms like X and dominating political discourse. The setting, a powder keg of tension. The hearing, convened by the House Oversight Committee, was intended to address the ongoing immigration crisis at the U.S. southern border, a topic that has long been a lightning rod for political controversy. With illegal border crossings surging in recent years, Republicans have accused the Biden administration of mishandling the situation, while Democrats have countered that GOP rhetoric inflames division and oversimplifies a complex issue. The stage was set for a clash and the presence of two outspoken figures, Jordan, a conservative firebrand known for his combative style, and Crockett, a rising Democratic star unafraid to challenge her opponent's guaranteed sparks would fly. As the hearing began, the room buzzed with anticipation. Lawmakers, aides, and reporters filled the chamber, while C-SPAN cameras rolled, capturing every moment for a national audience. Outside, the nation was grappling with a polarized political climate, where immigration had become a flashpoint in the lead-up to the 2026 midterm elections. For both parties, the stakes were high. Republicans sought to galvanize their base by highlighting border security failures, while Democrats aimed to push back against what they saw as fear-mongering and xenophobic narratives. The opening salvos. Crockett takes aim. Representative Jasmine Crockett, a freshman congresswoman known for her sharp rhetoric and unflinching advocacy, took the floor early in the hearing. Armed with data and a commanding presence, she wasted no time laying out her case. Crockett argued that Republicans had exaggerated the border crisis for political gain, accusing them of using inflammatory language to stoke fear among voters. "This is not about solving problems," she declared, her voice steady but pointed. "This is about creating a boogeyman to scare the American people into voting for you. The data doesn't lie. Border crossings fluctuate, and they've been a challenge for decades under both parties. But instead of working together, you'd rather demonize immigrants and score cheap points." Crockett's remarks were a direct challenge to the Republican narrative, which has long framed the border situation as a national emergency requiring immediate, hardline action. She cited statistics showing that immigration enforcement funding had increased significantly over the years, yet crossings persisted, a sign, she argued, that the issue required comprehensive reform rather than militarized solutions. Her tone was defiant, and her words were aimed not just at her colleagues but at the broader audience watching from home. Jordan's counterattack, a fiery rebuttal. Congressman Jim Jordan, a seasoned political brawler and a leading voice in the conservative movement, was not about to let Crockett's accusations go unanswered. Known for his rapid-fire delivery and unrelenting focus, Jordan seized the microphone with the intensity of a prizefighter entering the ring. "With all due respect to my colleague," he began, his voice dripping with barely concealed frustration, "the American people aren't buying this. They see what's happening at the border. They see the crime, the drugs, the chaos, and they're tired of excuses." Jordan leaned forward, his eyes locked on Crockett as he rattled off a litany of statistics and anecdotes to bolster his case. He pointed to a surge in fentanyl smuggling across the border, linking it to overdoses in communities across the country. He cited reports of violent crimes allegedly committed by undocumented immigrants, each example punctuated with a jab of his finger for emphasis. "This isn't fear-mongering," he thundered. "This is reality. Families are losing loved ones. Communities are being torn apart, and the Biden administration's open border policies are making it worse." The room grew tense as Jordan's voice rose, his words resonating with the conservative base watching at home. He accused Democrats of downplaying the crisis and ignoring the national security implications of unchecked immigration. "We've got terrorists on watch lists crossing the border," he claimed, referencing reports from Border Patrol officials. "How is that not a crisis? How is that not a failure of leadership?" The clash intensifies, interruptions, and rebukes. The exchange took a dramatic turn when Crockett, undeterred by Jordan's onslaught, interrupted to challenge his assertions. "You're cherry-picking data to fit your narrative," she shot back, her voice cutting through the room. "You talk about crime, but the data shows that immigrants, documented or not, commit crimes at lower rates than native-born citizens. You talk about drugs, but you ignore the fact that most trafficking happens through legal ports of entry, not open borders. You're not here to solve this, you're here to perform." The interruption drew audible gasps from the audience as interruptions during congressional hearings are rare and often seen as a breach of decorum. Jordan, visibly agitated, refused to yield. "I'm not going to sit here and let you dismiss the suffering of the American people," he retorted, his voice reaching a crescendo. "You can talk about your statistics all day, but out there, in Ohio, in Texas, in every state in this country, people are scared. They're scared because this administration has failed them, and you're defending that failure." The back and forth escalated into a verbal tug-of-war, with both lawmakers refusing to back down. Crockett accused Jordan of grandstanding, while Jordan doubled down, framing the debate as a matter of national survival. The committee chair struggled to restore order, banging the gavel as the two continued to spar. For those watching, it was a masterclass in political theater, raw, unfiltered, and impossible to look away from the aftermath. A divided response as the hearing adjourned. The clash between Jordan and Crockett reverberated far beyond the walls of Congress. Clips of the exchange flooded social media platforms like X, where they were dissected, praised, and criticized in equal measure. Supporters of Jordan hailed his performance as a tour de force, with conservative commentators on X calling it one of his strongest moments yet. "Jim Jordan just put the Democrats on notice," one user posted. "He's speaking for every American who's fed up with the border crisis." Others praised his refusal to cede ground, framing him as a defender of law and order. Crockett, meanwhile, earned accolades from progressive circles for her fearless challenge to Republican talking points. Jasmine Crockett didn't just hold her own, she exposed the GOP's hypocrisy, one ex-user wrote. "She's not here to play games." Her supporters argued that she had effectively debunked Jordan's claims and shifted the focus to the need for bipartisan solutions, yet the clash also underscored the deep divisions in Washington over immigration policy. For every voice cheering Jordan or Crockett, there were others lamenting the lack of constructive dialogue. "This is why nothing gets done," one ex-user posted. "It's all yelling and no listening." Analysts noted that the hearing, while gripping, produced little in the way of actionable proposals, leaving the immigration debate as intractable as ever. The bigger picture, immigration in the political arena. The Jordan-Crockett showdown was more than a moment of political theater. It was a microcosm of the broader immigration debate that has defined American politics for decades. On one side, Republicans like Jordan argue that lax border policies have led to a crisis of crime, drugs, and national security threats. They advocate for stricter enforcement, including increased funding for border walls, more Border Patrol agents, and tougher penalties for illegal crossings. Democrats like Crockett, on the other hand, contend that the issue is far more complex than Republican rhetoric suggests. They point to systemic factors like economic instability in Central America, violence driving migration, and an outdated immigration system as root causes that require comprehensive reform. They argue that focusing solely on enforcement ignores the human cost of the crisis and perpetuates a cycle of division. The clash also highlighted the role of media and public perception in shaping the debate, with clips of the hearing going viral. Both Jordan and Crockett gained significant visibility, cementing their status as leading voices in their respective parties. For Jordan, The exchange reinforced his reputation as a conservative stalwart unafraid to take on opponents. For Crockett, this showcased her as a bold, articulate advocate for progressive values. Looking ahead, what's next for the immigration debate? As the dust settles from this high-profile showdown, the question remains, what does it mean for the future of immigration policy? The hearing exposed the depth of partisan gridlock, with both sides digging in on their positions. Yet it also sparked renewed public interest in the issue, with ex-users and commentators calling for action whether through stricter enforcement or comprehensive reform. For now, the immigration crisis remains a political football with no easy solutions in sight. The 2026 midterms loom large, and both parties are likely to use the issue to rally their bases. Jordan and Crockett, now household names thanks to their viral clash, will undoubtedly continue to shape the conversation. One thing is certain, the showdown between Jim Jordan and Jasmine Crockett has left an indelible mark on the immigration debate. It was a moment of raw political passion, a clash of ideals, and a reminder of the challenges facing a divided nation. As the clips continue to spread like wildfire online, the American public is left to grapple with the question, can Washington move beyond the shouting matches and find a path forward on immigration?